Hi, I'm Ed Williamson, and welcome to the Way of Tai Chi. So in this series I'm going to teach you the principles of Tai Chi and how to apply them to any movement in Tai Chi form, no matter what form or style that you take. There are four main stages of practice, and the first one is a very physical level, which most people do today in everyday life. 90% of people operate this way physically, where there's a separation and isolation of different parts of your body. Either you're using an arm by itself, leg by itself, or you're separating lower body from upper body, and we're not doing anything as one unit. So the second stage then becomes when you integrate everything in your whole body as a unit, force. So everything's working together. Even if your little finger is moving, everything in your body is moving for that purpose. And within that stage also you can use chi, your internal chi, which moves together with your physical movement as a unit body force. So the chi and the physical move together. The third level stage that the practice is when the internal starts to become bigger than the external, meaning the physical starts to get much lighter and the internal energy starts to take over, and then the movement becomes very energetic from a chi standpoint, becoming bigger than your physical body. Now everything becomes soft, the body becomes softer, the muscles relax, and chi is moving much bigger way. The fourth stage, which is a very advanced level, is when the body comes completely empty. The physical gets very empty, and then the chi is actually outside of your body. And now it's almost like you have two bodies. You have this physical, and then the chi body, which is outside of yourself. And this chi body is what's doing all the work for you. But you still have to have the foundations and the basic levels working within this as well. So that's why it's very important to understand the basic levels, the foundation principles, and how to apply those to every movement, and then working your way up. So I'm going to do the first section of the Yang style form that I do. You may notice that this Yang style I do is a little bit different than what you normally see Yang style practiced as, because this is influenced by the Chen style. So it may look a little different. I'm going to do the first section, and then later on we'll take some parts of that and show you how to apply the body unit force into those movements in practice. So this is the Yang style first section that I do. So proper structure is important, and especially with your lower back, this arch in your back that's like this needs to go away by tucking on the inside. The Chinese call this the Mingmen, and this has to be pushed back a little bit for structural strength in any application that you're doing. So I'm going to bring in Michelle to show you how this works. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
So I'm going to have Michelle put her right foot forward, and she's going to put her hands out towards me. And she's going to keep this arch in her back here, and I'm going to try and push her. She won't let me push her back, but with an arch in her back, I can pick her up pretty easily and push her back. So if I have her come back in, put her right foot forward, and then take this arch out of her back by tucking underneath, then you'll see how the structure becomes very strong right away. So now I just have to push on her. Now she can push me back. Even if I lean towards her, she can pick me up like this and push me back. Just by proper structure of the arch. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So talking earlier about the different stages as you move and progress along, the physical level where you're just separating and isolating a body part or the lower from the upper and then integrating it into a unit body force. I want to show you what happens when you change that first level into the second level and how body unit force becomes so important, and then also adding moving with chi and the physical moving together and how that is applied. So I'll have Wendy come in, demonstrate this. Hi Wendy.
Hello.
So Wendy put her right foot forward. She's going to grab my wrist with both hands like this. So again, if I isolate muscles and arm like this, and I try to move just the physical with just my arm and isolate it from my body, and I try to do this, she can easily push me like this. So then if I integrate everything together as a unit force, just even as a physical unit, if I bring all this together, and now I move like this, now the body unit force can move strong because I'm using everything. Even my left foot is involved in this. Push again. My left foot is involved in this push here. So now I can push her back with force. But I can use chi instead and use chi energy movement along with the physical movement so that I don't have to put much force physically into this. I can relax, but I can bring everything into it. Push hard, but I can still just move with energy and not have to move myself physically. And that's when you have to, that's how you integrate unit body force. Thanks, Wendy.
Yep.
So a little piece out of the first section of the Yang style form, there's a movement called brush knee that goes like this. So in brush knee, they call it brush knee is simply because it's like you're brushing your knee off of here. But the energy is coming forward here, projecting this way, and this hand is going here, the energy is projecting this way. So when these two work together, again, unit body force and moving of chi and physical together, you'll see there's the reaction, the person, and what happens in the manipulation of the other person. They get pushed off to the side over here without having to spin or move dynamically in any way. So I'm going to bring Wendy in to show how this works. So Wendy's going to put her left foot forward and grab both my wrists like this. So again, I'm going to sink my energy down, relax the energy. And so I'm going to project this way and project this way. So as I do this. So single whip is one of those movements in a lot of different styles of Tai Chi that is really important. And a lot of masters test people with their single whip to see if they're doing this motion properly. And a lot of people, they use their shoulders in every movement. And that's the isolation again in the beginning stages of development, where you're always trying to use structure and separating it to try and use any force. Whereas you have to let go of your shoulder in Tai Chi, your shoulders are not involved at all. Everything sinks down, the energy can come inside and then go out someplace else. So I'm going to demonstrate that with the single whip and how when you let go of your shoulder, the power and the energy can go here, and then you can push people with just the energy coming from here rather than from your shoulder, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to bring Wendy in again. So the single whip that you see in the form is like this. This is relaxed. So if Wendy's pushing on this here, and if I incorporate my shoulder and use this to try and pick her up with this, she can easily push me back because this is connected. I have to let this go, let this relax completely, so my energy comes down inside my body. Now I can rise it up in here. So now when she pushes against this, I have my force coming from the earth, coming through here as a unit force. One more time. Again, if we push, and you can see if I hold structure that she has, she knows where I am, she knows where my shoulder is, I can easily push this around. So as she pushes, I'm going to go slowly. As she pushes, I'm going to move from this to this. And then I can push her back this way. So it's important to get rid of your shoulder and relax and let the energy come out of here instead. Thank you. Yep. So another part that's important with the single whip movement is after the single whip is done over here, there's a push off here at the end. And so again, in the beginning stages when you're doing it purely physical and you're isolating your body and your muscles and you're trying to push from your shoulder and just with your arm, there's not much of an effect on the person when you're pushing them. But again, if you sync and integrate a whole body unit force as you're pushing this off, you'll see that there's no need to lean forward, there's no need for any kind of pressure. It's just the sinking and pressing out and using unit body force. You'll see how the reaction happens easily with that. So I'm going to bring Michelle in one more time. So Michelle's going to go into the single whip position. Like this. So this is the push I'm talking about after the single whip is done. So if Michelle is going to just use her arm force to try and push me, and I can hold this, and see how she's leaning towards me to try and give some pressure. So one more time, physically, and you see she's leaning, trying to get some power into this. Okay? Whereas if she just relaxes into her center and doesn't come forward physically, but as she's sinking, just pushes off of it, now you can see that she can push me pretty easily, and there's no need for her to come forward as she's doing it. So one more time, relaxing all the way in, as you push out, and you can see how easily, without her moving from the center point. Thank you. So I'm going to show you 3 different movements that would help you in your practice to integrate a unit body force rather than separating and isolating your arms and your legs or upper from lower. So trying to get them all to work together so you have a unit force. So the first one is, so you open up a little bit and your toes are pointing a little bit this way in a 45-degree angle. Your arms are up like this and your elbows are in, not out to the side. So you bring them in like this. So what's happening is you're going to come in like this, and then you're going to open up. And you come in, and you're going to open up. Now, what you don't want to have happen is this, where you're sinking down, and you finish sinking, and then your arms are moving separately, or you're doing this, and then you start to move like this, and your arms are stopped. Everything's got to be moving at the same time and the same pace. And this is how you practice unit body force, when everything's moving together as one thing. The other thing that happens is here. This is pushing down and up at the same time. This isn't just about rising up and falling down. As you're coming up, this is going this way. So there's also pressure down as you're going up. So even when I'm doing this and it looks like I'm raising up, I'm still putting pressure here, down, as I'm doing this. So I'm still grounded, and my force is down and up at the same time as I'm moving up. So this is the first one. The second one is just like this. The same movement, but you're just pushing forward. And you come back. And again, it's unit force, everything working together, and come back. But again, not forgetting that this is opening up as you're coming up and down. This is opening up and closing here. And you're doing this push and back. And the third one is the one I like to call from like the Karate Kid movie, where Daniel is told to wax on, wax off. And you'll see in the movie where he's doing this, and he's doing this, and you see how it's completely separate. The body's not involved. This is just a block, this is just a block. Well, unit body force, even though you're doing a circle, the whole body is doing the circle. So it's more like this. And everything stays relaxed. And again, opening up in the center, pressing down as well as up. And you can do this both ways. The circuit can come both ways. But it's unit body force. Practice relaxing and everything moving as one. So these are the 3 different ways that you can practice unit body force, but being relaxed the whole time, not forgetting to open up and pressure down at the same time as well. So I hope you enjoyed this first, in the beginning of the series, an introduction to the basic principles and foundations of applying principles into your Tai Chi practice. In the next series, what I'm going to talk about is gravity force and how you use gravity to your advantage, and also how down replaces up, which is a very important principle in Tai Chi, where you relax the upper body and everything from down below is working for the upper. And so this goes away. So I hope you will join us for the next series, and I'll see you then.